someone like you, someone like you. Afternoon finds me no further along. Could patience be better, or should I move on? No, but it's all I can do, not to call you with your number still left on my hand. Baby, I confess I was not expecting this. I have been waiting for someone like you. Baby, I am.
Well, good morning, Springfield. I'm Matt Morrow, president of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and so glad that you can join us this morning for this edition of virtual Good Morning Springfield, as we've been accustomed to bringing to you each month here during this most unique of years. We are so glad that you're with us today, and we're coming to you live from the DMP studios, the in-house production studio of digital monitoring products. They are great friends to our community and certainly to the Chamber of Commerce, have been incredibly generous with allowing us to partner with them on this. So big thank you to DMP. And of course, big thank you to you as well for joining us today, and certainly for sharing what you're going to learn. We've got a great program ahead for you, and I'm looking forward to talking to our guests today. I know you'll be inspired by them as well. And as you are, as always, we want to try to encourage you to use our hashtag as you share what you're learning here today. And that hashtag is hashtag GoodMorningSGF. You can, of course, share those tidbits that you learned. And as always, here in recent months, you can even share the actual live broadcast itself by using that hashtag Good Morning SGF. Whether you're watching on Zoom or you're watching on Facebook Live or any other platform, please do share what you're learning and this broadcast also. We have a great program ahead for you today. Really looking forward to it. We'll be learning more about some of the most innovative and talented entrepreneurs in our community. These are the 5 finalists for the W. Curtis Strube Small Business Award that we are going to introduce you to today. And a big thank you again to DMP Digital Monitoring Products for hosting us this morning in this studio and making this live feed available to you. The DMP team has just been so incredibly supportive and generous to the Chamber in 2020, including the very first time we tried to live stream an edition of Good Morning Springfield back in April. They were here for us, and they helped us make sure that could happen with success and deliver this important programming to all of you as well. So all the way from start to finish in this thing, what tremendous partners they are, and great corporate citizens as well. Well, at this time, I'd like to take just a moment to recognize our sponsors, and we're very, very grateful and fortunate to have these sponsors continuing to support this program in a way that allows it to be brought to you each and every month. Our series sponsor this year is BKD Wealth Advisors, and you know them well if you are a regular now viewer of or regular attendee of Good Morning Springfield. They're a national wealth management firm headquartered right here in Springfield, Missouri, offering services for individuals, families, and businesses. BKD Wealth Advisors serves upwards of $4 billion in assets under management, and they're very proud of the fact that $1 billion of that is right here in the local Springfield market. This achievement is a great reflection of the hard work and dedication of their team to provide unmatched client service for their clients and for our community as well. So I'm very glad to welcome to the set today Travis Lyles. He's Managing Advisor for BKD Wealth Advisors. Welcome, Travis.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Good morning, Springfield. And I got to say, I'm really excited to hear from the business finalists as well.
Yeah.
It should be a great program today. But I wanted to share with everyone just two quick things. Once again, it is my privilege to be here on behalf of BKD Wealth Advisors as the annual sponsor for Good Morning Springfield. But first and foremost, as we know, 2020 has been anything but a normal year. And as we near the end of the year, there remains still quite a bit of uncertainty. To help provide some clarity or direction as we transition into 2021, BKD is hosting a free webinar on tax planning strategies for individuals to consider for the tax year 2020. It'll be hosted by Damian Martin and a panel of BKD trusted advisors consisting of experts from across the firm, including BKD Wealth Advisors Chief Investment Officer Jeff Lehman. Should be a phenomenal webinar with great information. I would encourage each and every one of you to visit our website to register or to reach out to one of your BKD advisors, and we would be happy to help set you up. Secondly, I would also take a moment to share some unsolicited recognition that BKD Wealth Advisors has received. We have been named to the second annual CNBC Financial Advisors Top 100 list. This list celebrates independent registered investment advisors that offer in-depth planning and financial services to help clients across the country navigate their complex financial lives. We, are super grateful for this recognition and truly believe it would not be possible without our dedicated team members that are able to provide unmatched client service day in and day out. It's honored. We are honored to be recognized by CNBC as a leading firm in this industry, and appreciate the opportunity to kind of share this good news with you today, Matt.
Well, that is great news. Yeah. Thanks so much, Travis. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to the whole team. That's tremendous. We love when great local companies that have made it big on a national scale are recognized in that capacity. So how exciting is that? Thank you. Thanks, Travis, so much. And big thank you to BKD Wealth Advisors for your continued support of Good Morning Springfield in 2020. Well, our monthly sponsor this month is Great Southern Bank, and for nearly a century, Great Southern Bank has been empowering entrepreneurs and fueling economic growth in our region. The Great Southern story is an iconic one of business in our business community, and that story continues to inspire us in terms of the success that is possible here. With $5.4 billion in total assets, Great Southern is headquartered in Springfield and operates more than 100 offices in 11 states. With nearly 1,200 dedicated associates, Great Southern strives to provide exceptional service to its customers with a goal of understanding what matters most in every interaction with those customers. Great Southern Bank also serves as a model of best practice when it comes to acting on a commitment to improve the communities the company serves, to make them better places to live, better places to work, and do business. Great Southern financially supports many nonprofit organizations and cultivates a culture of engagement among its associates that supports volunteerism along the way. Let's take a quick look at a message from Great Southern Bank to learn more about their mission to serve their customers and their communities.
What makes a community great? It's a compassionate team of associates who champion causes near and dear to them and who inspire us each and every day with their passion for helping others. It's collaborating with a strong network of partners that share our commitment to giving back and empowering those who need it most, supporting these causes through leadership and investments to facilitate long-term economic growth. It's sharing our financial expertise by lending a hand to those who need help gaining financial stability, ensuring a bright and prosperous future. It's providing dependable financial support to organizations that need someone to stand alongside them as they break new ground and craft long-term solutions. What makes a community truly great are the people. At Great Southern, we believe that giving back goes well beyond donations. It requires stepping up, being involved, and looking for ways to make purposeful impact. We believe in empowering people to do great things. We lean on our associates to help identify local needs and encourage them to volunteer their time and talents to help advance these causes. We also provide loyal support to organizations who help people fulfill their dreams that are just within reach. At Great Southern Bank, we will continue supporting causes, addressing needs, and bringing our vision of stronger communities to life. We know that a thriving economy means more success for everyone, our customers, associates, shareholders, and our friends and neighbors. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
What a tremendous partner Great Southern Bank is. We love working with them. I just love how Great Southern understands that that a growing economy, helping to grow this economy, a thriving economy means more opportunity for everyone who lives here. That, of course, is a key part of the Chamber's mission as well and focus. So big thank you today to Great Southern Bank for your support and for the program that we will be hosting today. Thanks to your support. On November 11th, the Chamber of Commerce will host a live stream of the 29th Annual Small Business Award event. And that award originated with Dr. W. Curtis Strube. He was the late director of the Breach School of Business Administration right here in Springfield at Drury University. He was an advocate for small businesses, and he was also the founder of the Chamber of Commerce Small Business Council, which is still thriving today. Earlier this year, we solicited award nominations from the full Chamber of Commerce membership, and ultimately an independent panel of judges chose 5 finalists from among those nominees to be recognized, and that starts here today. Now, that panel of judges is comprised of past award recipients, essays about the organization's history, guiding philosophy, the strength of their innovation in providing products and or services, and how they've responded successfully to challenges and how they give back to the Springfield region. Now, the judging that took place for this happened before many of the events of this most unusual of years. In fact, we were just prepared to announce the small business finalists when it became more difficult to host events. And so they've been waiting a while, but the thing that is so admirable from my perspective and watching how they have navigated this year is that all of those strengths, all of those attributes that rose to the top during the judging process have just been applied in new and remarkable, innovative, entrepreneurial ways when these new challenges have come their way. And that's really the nature of successful small businesses. They pivot, they adapt, and ultimately they apply their considerable skills and talents to whatever this world throws at them. And it's been a wonderful thing to watch. And we're going to talk to some of them today. We're going to talk to each of the 5 finalists, in fact, these companies this morning, and get to know more about their uniquely successful businesses. They are the Academy of Hair Design, OMG Commerce, Oz Air Charter Service, Pearson Kelly Technology, and Volt Credit Union. So first up, in alphabetical order by business name, is Linda Doherty, Academy of Hair Design Superintendent. Linda has had a conflict arrive this morning, a last-minute conflict that we didn't anticipate, but she was very generous to allow us an opportunity to catch up with her earlier by video. So we're able to record her answers to a couple of key questions so that you can know a little bit more about this special business here today and share it with you this morning. The Academy of Hair Design has been so forward-thinking, not only about equipping its students with the very best technical skills to succeed, but also creating programs to transform them into stronger individuals and entrepreneurs. So we asked Linda to tell us a little bit more about their innovative efforts like the Business Realities program and the Academy coach that they have, and also about their culture and their community service. So let's hear from Linda now.
I really appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about our Business Realities program. And so when I first came to the Academy, Dave and Christy Gonzalez, our owners, we just began to really dream outside the box for our students. They're cosmetologists, barbers, estheticians, and manicurists. And we really knew that they will get the skills they need for sure. but can they build a business? And when you meet some of our students, many of them are saying, I want my own salon, I want my own spa, my own barbershop. And so we felt like one of the things that we could really add is to teach them entrepreneurial skills, but then also how to build their business. And so we started out with creating business realities, kind of like, all the reality shows. And so when our students come on campus, Tuesday through Saturday, they set up as if they were in a salon. We teach them how to market themselves. We encourage them, they need to get 20 people just to begin their clientele. If they can get 20 people inside the school and take them with them, then they've got the start of a business. We teach them how to do social media, how to market themselves on Facebook, how to put their best foot forward so that they can begin to build their business right in our school. As they're getting their education, they're building their business. So that's one of the things we've done with Business Realities. And then this last year, we added an academy coach. And coaching is just such a great way to help people move into that next place in their life. So they get to have coaching sessions with our coach, and the coach helps them identify, what part of the industry they want to be in. Do they want to own their own business? Are they going to go to a commission salon, or are they going to go to a booth rental? And just really begins to work with them on that, develop their soft skills, develop their tagline and who they are and their slight edge that's going to put them out above everyone else as they start their careers. So we're very intentional about guest services. And one of the things we really want to teach our students is that, when you have a guest service, that's your opportunity to really shine, to really take care of that person in front of you. And we have found the best way to teach customer service or guest services is by giving back in our community. And so we built a school in Rwanda, Africa, and it has been incredible. We've taken students there and staff, but you can't be generous overseas if you're not generous in your home city. And so we work with the Dream Center. Until COVID hit, we went over once a month and cut hair. We work with Harmony House. We work with OCAC. All of the veterans and military, they get free services in our salons because we need them to come in so that our students can begin to develop guest services. But the best way we found to teach that is to give back into your community. We had a situation where a woman told one of our students, "This is the first professional haircut I've had in 10 years." That made my student feel like $1 million to realize that they're giving back into the community and they're learning customer service.
Thanks so much, Linda, and thanks for joining us remotely, of course, for today to be able to do this video interview, and just for your inspiring story and for the great story Academy of Hair and Design has to tell. So thanks for that, and congratulations on being a finalist for the Small Business Award this year. Now, our next finalist that we get to meet today is OMG Commerce, and with us is CEO and co-founder Brett Curry. Brett, so glad to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, it feels long overdue to me because we've been wanting to recognize you guys for so long on this, but I am so appreciative of and I so admire the way OMG very intentionally approaches the process of tackling problems and creating solutions for your clients. And that's one of the things that emerges when we just get to sort of read about these businesses. Your processes are intentionally designed to spur innovation. And that means you ensure that everyone has a seat at what you call the idea table. And I just would love for you to tell us a little bit more about that approach, how it developed, and the role that it's played in your success.
Sure. And it's been really interesting to see that problem-solving culture kind of come to life in a real tangible way this year with everything going on in our industry. And first of all, we work in an industry that's always changing. So online marketing, Google makes a change today that has a major impact tomorrow. And so we always have to be ready to innovate, ready to pivot. But I think it comes down really to three main things as we look at building this problem-solving culture and where we collaborate and everyone has a voice. The first thing is expectations, right? So we hire for culture first. So as we go through our process, we're looking for, is this someone that embodies the OMG culture? So that's first and foremost. But then we expect it. We say, hey, we have fun solving problems. That's what we do. That's our DNA. That's how we operate. We collaborate. We don't hoard information. We share information, right? We've even borrowed the line from the TSA where, hey, if you see something, say something,
Right.
right? You do not get bonus points for withholding information. That does not work. So those expectations are really clear, and we set those out in the very beginning. And I think the other thing is environment, right? We want to make it easy for people to share feedback and for them to be heard. So if you say we want to collaborate and everyone has a voice, but then you make it difficult for people to do that, it doesn't work. So we regularly, we have departmental meetings that I think are very collaborative, very open. We have individual client Slack channels, so our client teams can constantly communicate and share ideas and identify problems and say, oh wait, we got to check this out or get on top of this. And so that communication line is really open. So we create that environment. And then I think the third thing is encouragement. So we celebrate if a team member asks a difficult question or they find something new or innovative, like we celebrate that. Once a month in our Monday morning meetings, we do what's called OM Gratitude. So we'll play on OMG, but OM Gratitude. And so the whole meeting is about 30 minutes where we're just calling out, good things that people have done, but we let the team actually share those kudos with each other. And so I think those things work together to where it just becomes how we operate.
Really defines the whole culture, and that of course defines how you go about having fun solving problems.
Yes, exactly.
That does sound like more fun than the TSA, though.
It is. Yeah, that's the only thing we borrowed from the TSA. Such a catchy phrase.
So, Brad, I know that you have there's so much more that we could learn about OMG and the great work that you're doing. But one thing before you get out of here, I do want to hear about is tell us about how your team gives back to the community, because I know that's so important.
Yeah, it's very important. And what's interesting is, we, as an agency, we serve e-commerce companies, and really like 98% of our clients are not local. So we're working with clients on either coast, but we love Springfield. We love the business community. We love people here, but it's always been a part of our heart for myself, my business partner, Chris Brewer, our COO, Sarah Edwards, and the whole team, that we want to be a part of this community. We want to give back. And so one of our primary charitable partners is I Pour Life.
Yes.
And I Pour Life has a great local effort for kind of marginalized youth. And so those that have been in the foster care system who maybe don't have job skills, interview skills, life skills. And so they pour into that. And so, no pun intended, but we really contribute and get behind that organization. And so we just love Springfield, and we also love the way Springfield is growing and helping. And so whatever we can do to foster that, we want to do that.
Well, Brett, that's fantastic. And I just want to thank you so much for what you're doing every single day, and for joining us here today so that people can start to get to know you a little bit better if they haven't had that opportunity yet. And congratulations on being a small business finalist.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks
really
so much,
appreciate
Brett.
it.
You bet. Thanks so much for all you're doing. And so we're really just thrilled to be able to focus on these stories today. And our next finalist is coming in next. We're going to have her kind of make her way to the desk now, and that is Oz Air Charter Services. And Monica Henderson DeVore is the office manager with Burgess Aircraft Management and Oz Air Charter Services. And she's joining us today. We're going to have a little conversation about the inspiring work that's happening there as well. Welcome, Monica. So glad you can be with us today.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by what you do and by this great organization and business. I know your industry, just by virtue of being in aviation, requires some very specialized and highly skilled people to work in it. And I wonder if you could just maybe give us a little bit of an update about your workforce and share what you do to retain some of your outstanding employees.
Sure. Pilots obviously have to have training, and we provide all of that training for them, which would be a huge expense to them. So when we bring them on, we're training them, we're keeping them up to date every year in their annual training. And honestly, it's been an interesting turn this year, because we went from the beginning of the year where you could not hire a pilot. Yeah. They weren't to be found. And so our culture has always been to take care of them. We provide healthcare, 100% pay. We provide 401k match. Mark even bought a small aircraft to Saratoga, so that if the guys want to go take it for the weekend with their family, they can.
Wow.
And he pays the fuel for it, takes care of it all. And that's a really nice thing for them. Yeah. And it lets them be able to do some traveling, take less time off, right. Be with their family. And that's the other thing Mark is huge on, is take time for your family. If your kid's got a ball game, if you need to be somewhere, he's real big on asking for it. We don't punch a time clock per se. We get the job done, and we do our job. He takes care of us. So, it's a fun atmosphere to work in for
Well,
sure.
it sounds like it is. And I mean, I have to think that it's a competitive marketplace for talent. So it's it feels like to me it's probably something you do because you believe it's the right thing to do, but it's also a smart thing to do, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and the pandemic has changed the dynamic of it all, because in March there was no one to hire, and right now he has a stack of resumes on his desk.
Yeah.
Because the airlines aren't flying, but we sure are. So.
You busy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I want to get a chance to hear from you about some of the as you've touched on the culture of the company, the business and everything, but I know that that making an impact on the community is so important to you and to the team. Would you talk just a little bit about some of the ways that Ozair does that?
Sure, absolutely. For example, this week we work with Veterans Airlift Command, and we're actually picking up a gentleman out in California and bringing him home. We also work a lot with Breast Cancer of the Ozarks. Mark's a big supporter of that. We work with Dynamic Strides. He's a big supporter of that as well. So any way that he can give back to the community here locally, that's a huge thing for us. So.
Well, I'm just inspired by the story. Of course, our small business finalists would be doing plenty for our community just by having successful small businesses, but to take that and then sort of pour that back into the community the way you do and the way others do. I just want to thank you for it, and thanks for spending some time with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Monica. It's a great, another great example. Are you enjoying these? I hope you're enjoying these stories. I am. I'm so inspired by the work that people are doing in these settings, and we've waited a while to tell you these stories this year. We've been holding on to them, just itching to tell them. But before we get to our next finalist, which we're gonna move to in just a moment, we have a couple more to let you get acquainted with. But before we do that, we're gonna take just a break for a moment and switch gears to share an update from Springfield Public Schools. If you're a regular participant in Good Morning Springfield, you know that a big part of what we do is to hear from public sector partners about what those key timely reports are that are going on in our community, whether that's the city of Springfield or Greene County, or in this case, Springfield Public Schools. And there's a lot going on in the schools. I've often referred to 2020 as this most unusual of years, and this is a most unusual of semesters in a most unusual of years for our public school district. And so I wanted to have a chance for you to hear from them, and the district provided this video with the latest news for you, and it's a timely update. So let's take a look from Springfield Public Schools.
Good morning, Springfield. I'm happy to share a status report on Springfield Public Schools. A lot has happened over the past month. Since the beginning of the school year, our goal has always been to welcome more students back to school once there was enough data to determine it was safe to proceed. First quarter data indicates that our health and safety protocols are working. Transmission of COVID-19 within the school setting, especially among our younger students, is very low. We believe that moving to a 4-day week will provide much needed academic and social support for our students while we maintain health and safety protocols that are essential during the ongoing pandemic. Earlier this week, the first group of elementary students returned to 4 days of in-person learning as part of an expansion of in-person learning days for students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. On Monday, November 9th, students in grades 3 through 8 will also begin attending 4 days a week. Wednesdays will remain a district-wide virtual learning day. This is a measured step toward an eventual return to 5 days of in-person learning. Students who originally enrolled in the fully virtual option will continue learning from home through the end of first semester. Later this month, students who wish to change their learning option from virtual to seated or from seated to virtual will be able to make that adjustment for the second semester. The decision to increase in-person days was made in consultation with Springfield Greene County Health Department. We greatly appreciate Clay Goddard and his team for their leadership and support for the ongoing efforts to protect our entire community. We will continue with effective health and safety practices, including requiring face coverings, frequent hand washing, and thorough cleaning of our district facilities to help protect our students and staff. It is especially important for staff, parents, and students to self-monitor for symptoms and to stay home if those symptoms are present. Also, getting the flu vaccine will help everyone stay healthy and contribute to our ability to continue in-person learning. In cooperation with Jordan Valley Community Health Center, Cox Health, Mercy, and Springfield Greene County Health Department, SPS is offering the seasonal flu vaccine to any student free of charge. Flu vaccine clinics are currently being held at each school site and will be available to both virtual and seated students. Already, we have administered more than 2,500 flu vaccines to students and staff. Since our last update, I announced my retirement from K-12 public education in the state of Missouri at the conclusion of this school year. It's been my honor to serve as SPS superintendent, and I will cherish the 7 years of work we have partnered to deliver. The Board of Education has hired an executive firm to lead a nationwide search for the next SPS superintendent. That search will include opportunities for our constituents to provide feedback. Please watch for more information about how to be engaged in this important process. We want to hear from you. Finally, progress continues on Proposition S projects. We recently held ribbon-cutting ceremonies at Delaware Elementary and the Ada Fulbright Early Childhood Center to celebrate the opening of those facilities. A ribbon-cutting ceremony for Sunshine Elementary will soon follow. Now, for continuing progress with Boyd and Williams Elementary Schools, Jarrett Middle School, and Hillcrest High School. As a result of competitive bids and outstanding stewardship, SPS is able to complete all of Hillcrest High School's renovations as one project rather than dividing it into 2 phases as originally planned. In addition, we've also been able to add York Elementary as a project funded by Proposition S. York Elementary will receive a brand new facility to serve its student population for generations to come. We conclude today's SPS update with the exciting overview of progress as promised, thanks to voter approval of Proposition S.
Well, thanks so much for that update from Springfield Public Schools, and I want to extend a very special thank you to Dr. John Jungman, Superintendent of Springfield Public Schools, and also the Board of Education, the faculty, staff, everyone involved in working more than double time to educate our students safely right now, while also moving ahead on many planned priority projects and initiatives that will have an impact on our community for generations. We're so thankful for all of the work that you do in our community. And now we get to pivot our attention back to a couple more finalists for the Small Business Award. And these are inspiring stories. I hope you've enjoyed them so far. I have, and we're going to talk to a couple of more here today. Our next finalist is with me now, Pearson Kelly Technology. And with us today is their Executive Vice President, Lee Flood. Lee, welcome. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for hosting us, man. We're really excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it just builds anticipation. We're really thrilled to be able to tell your story, for you to tell your story, and for people to get to know, if they don't already, and many do, but if they don't already know, just to know some of the amazing things that you do. And so Pearson Kelly Technology has this very intentional approach to building a customer-centered culture. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so critical, but while doing that, also bringing out the strengths of your team, of your employees. That's a sometimes can be seen as sort of a delicate balance, but man, you figured out a way to do it so they really feed each other. Can you talk a little bit about your core values as an organization, how you've created that framework to ensure that every step is done right for your team and for the client?
Absolutely. So maybe something people don't know about us that's probably different from a lot of organizations is we're actually a traction company. And if you don't know what that is, traction is just a book, and it's kind of an operating system for your organization, or a methodology. And the thought process is, how do we get everyone in the same boat, paddling the same direction, right? Yeah. A big piece of that is the core values piece. And so it's not necessarily just that most people have core values, but the way they go about doing it. We actually had a consultant come in, and he asked us 2 different questions. The first being, if you were starting a business from scratch, give me 3 people that if you thought you had them on board, that you could take over the world. And so, all of us write down, our leadership team write down our 3 names. And then he asks the question, okay, now what about these characters? Why these people? What characteristics do they have that makes you think that? We write those down, erase the names, and immediately we're all looking at this board and going, wow, most of these overlap. Most of these, speak to the same types of things. Well, we start to kill and combine those lists, and we come up with 5 core values. And so, we painted them on the wall, put them on the website, and that was the end of it, right? So obviously, maybe not yet, right? But that's the way it was in the past. So now what we actually do, we use those 5 core values to recruit, to hire. On a 90-day basis, we actually review or really coach our teams to those. And obviously, we can even separate. And so what that does is, again, it puts our team and our culture kind of in one boat together, rowing in the same direction, and kind of naturally gives us an ability to say, what does it look like to be a PKT person, a PKT employee? And that bleeds through to our customers and to our client experience.
Well, I know that as you do that, one of the ways that those core values really play out in practice is through community service.
100%.
And I know that's really important to your team. Could you take a minute, maybe update us a little bit on some of that work and what you're doing in that space?
Yeah, so we really believe in the idea that actions speak a lot louder than words, right? And so we love to get involved into the community. And I could talk a long time on it. I don't have that. So I'll just give one instance. Okay. So just recently, Harmony House had their eye care campaign, and we were heavily involved. And what's so cool about Pearson Kelly, because of those 5 core values, it's just not hard to get people excited or involved. And in fact, one of our gals internally got us linked up with Ozark Raceway because they actually were willing to let us go out there and kind of raffle off some opportunities for people and raise a lot of funds and awareness for the eye care campaign. And so again, that just kind of bleeds through to those people and their abilities. And so we're just grateful to have them.
Well, it's a testament to the culture that's being built there and the work that plays out in so many different ways. And of course, we're also inspired just by the success of the small business. So thank you so much for your leadership and for your work there, Lee, and just the whole team at Pearson Kelly Technology.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
You bet. You bet. It's an inspiring story, and we're excited to hear about it and to tell it. We're just getting to scratch the surface. We're going to talk more a little bit later about how you can learn more about what these wonderful businesses are doing, the impact that they're having, how their practices can maybe make all of us a little bit better, and at the same time, the impact they're having on our community. We're going to talk to you more about how you can learn more about that, but today we're just getting to get a taste of it, just get a little bit of a scratching the surface of these great stories. So our 5th finalist, our final finalist today that we'll be visiting with is Volt Credit Union. And I'm really thrilled to introduce to you today their president and CEO, Loretta Roney. And it's great to see you, Loretta. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. Volt is humbled and honored to be included with so many other amazing small businesses, and we're very proud to be here with you today.
So you got, because you alphabetically, as a V and Volt, get to go last here, you've gotten to hear these inspiring stories along the way. And I know you work closely with businesses, small businesses all the time. Quite an impression being made on you as you listen?
Yes. I mean, some of the things are reoccurring themes, and those are things that, just as we listen to Pearson Kelly talk about their culture initiative, I mean, that was part of our rebranding, was a whole culture initiative and a culture change. And so for us, we did something very similar to them in the fact that, historically you saw a lot of mission and vision statements, and they might be in the employee handbook, and they might be nicely framed on the wall. But if you went around and you asked your staff, could you tell me what our vision and what our mission statements were? People didn't necessarily know what those were. So we did a similar approach where we went through, and I believe if you weigh in, you buy in. And so we brought a team engagement team together to talk about what our culture codes should be. What do we want to be? Where do we want to go? And we put 5 culture codes in place as well to navigate. And now if you went around and said, what are our culture codes versus what was our mission and vision, people could rattle those 5 off pretty easily and tell you what we're about.
So I love the story because you're doing a rebrand, and that in itself is a huge undertaking. But to do it with such great intentionality of bringing people around and having it intended to focus on not just your external brand, but also reshaping culture. Talk about the switch from the prior brand to where you are now, to what this is.
Yeah, when I came here about 6 years ago, I started talking to the staff, and my senior team will joke because I asked them in one of the first management meetings, I said, give me 3 things that you want to change and give me 3 things that you want to stay the same.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we don't necessarily want anything to stay the same. And so I was like, okay, buckle up, it's time to go. And so we have done a complete overhaul. It kind of started, I got the opportunity to go to Las Vegas and to go to Zappos, who is very deep in employee engagement and culture. And so I wanted to start like looking at their model, and got the opportunity to go through there and meet Tony Hsieh. But then like later came back and looked at, with the staff, we had a location that the lighting was very dark, the colors were very dark. And so we started asking people to walk around and say, when you come here, how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
And so we started hearing words, and we had them write it down anonymously so that it wouldn't hurt anyone's feelings. But we heard words like darkness, funeral home, death. You know, there were some pretty like harsh words.
Tough. Yeah, that's pretty
And so we said, okay, so if we don't want to be that, what do we want to be? And we started talking about what are the opposite of those. And that was like light and energy and moxie. Yeah. And that was the birth of Volt. You know, it took us 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we just picked a name out of the sky. But it took us 2.5 years of rebranding to get ourselves to what we wanted to be. And then as we started incorporating the culture codes into the headquarters, it was really strategically designing that then to have light and energy and a new way of business, which then came forward with our motto of revolting against banking as usual.
Well, it's great. It's great to see. I think it's been an enormous impact. And as you do those things, you're also very conscious of ways that you can have this commitment to and demonstrate this commitment to community service as well. So if you could just take a minute, maybe talk to us a little bit about some of those things. I know they're very important to you.
Yeah, they are. A lot of times people don't correlate financial institutions of actually being a small business. Yeah. And so for us, you know, this week I saw one of, you know, the larger institutions in town was talking about that their profits were down from 81 million to 50 million. And we're only 80 million in assets total. Like we only make a few $100,000 a year, not millions of dollars a year. So we truly are a small business. So when we give back to the community, it's a much bigger chunk of our profits than, you know, sometimes what people think of as a financial institution. And so this year we've started, it was our 85th anniversary, and we told a lot of people, because they think Volt is new, they didn't realize that we were actually 85 years old. So we started an initiative this year that was 85,000 Sparks. And that initiative was to create 85,000 moments of impact in our community. And so those impact could be volunteer hours, they could be dollars spent. We have a program with our employees, which they get 24 hours of paid volunteer time in our community. And then part of the things that we've done so far with 85,000 Sparks this year, we've done the Women's Build with Habitat for Humanity. We're doing a matching grant right now through November the 15th with the Child Advocacy Center. So we are matching everything up to $5,000. So we're hoping to get them $10,000. Yeah. And then we've applied for a grant for the Dream Center to help with their virtual school that will hopefully get them $20,000 for their virtual school. So those are just the last few months.
Those are just a few.
Those are just
sparks.
a few. Yeah,
just a few sparks. Well, Loretta, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And I wish we had more time to talk more about this, but we will have more time at an upcoming event we're going to talk about in just a minute. But thanks so much for being with us today, and congratulations on being a finalist for the Small Business Award.
Thank you. We're so proud. Thank you.
You bet. Well, I've mentioned a couple of times that the judging happened earlier this year, and of course, much has happened over the course of this year. One of the things that we never anticipated would be a benefit to the Small Business Award process through this is that we have had this time to really see the skills, the culture, the attributes that you've heard described today play out in new and unexpected ways during unexpected times. And so we didn't talk a whole lot about those specific things today, but that's become part of the story of these small businesses. And we just scratched the surface today of all there is to know about these great businesses and what they're doing in our community, and how you and I can learn more from them about how to manage our own operations better and the impact that we can have. So here's the deal. We want to make sure that you don't miss the rest of the story. And so you need to make plans now to join us for the virtual edition of the 2020 Small Business Award event. And that will be on November 11th at 11:30 a.m. We have a great program lined up for you for that event. And you'll be learning more about these finalists as part of that program. And of course, we'll have our Small Business of the Year award as well. Our keynote speaker for that is Dr. Spencer Harris of Mostly Serious. And so he's going to also share some insights about the digital behavior of local consumers from a research project that he did in partnership with the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. That's just added value to you. That's just something we want to offer businesses in our community as a direct support for the things that you're doing to be successful. So you can visit the Chamber's website calendar for more information about how to join the live feed of this year's Small Business Award event. Also coming up in November, the Network for Springfield Young Professionals has its SGF Forum event planned for November the 19th. So I want to encourage you to encourage your company's young professionals to engage in that live streamed event, which is made available at no cost, that has lots of great value to help with professional development of young professionals, making them, giving them the tools necessary to make an impact in their community and in their company and on your behalf for your businesses as well. And one great thing that I've learned about this is that on that day and that day only, we are all young professionals. So I don't qualify for the network on 364 days a week, but that day I do. And I'm going to tune into it. I hope you will as well. So it's for those who are young and young at heart. You can watch for more details about that coming your way. And you can also watch for more details coming up for another major event coming your way here before the year wraps up. And that is our manufacturing outlook. That'll be coming in December, as well as the December 3rd edition of Good Morning Springfield, which is always a very special holiday edition of Good Morning Springfield. So I hope that you'll watch your email and watch the calendars for that, and be sure to join us for these very special gatherings virtually this year. And I want to give a big thank you again to our sponsors. Our sponsors are BKD Wealth Advisors, who have been the overarching sponsor of Good Morning Springfield all year long, the series sponsor. So grateful to them, and Great Southern Bank for their support for this month's Good Morning Springfield and all of the great work that they do, making this a wonderful community as well. We're so thankful for your support and for helping make this possible. I also want to thank once again our good friends at DMP Digital Monitoring Products, specifically DMP President and owner Rick Britton, and the amazing team here, Executive Director of Marketing Mark Hillenberg. There are many folks here who have just make this easy, and it's not easy, but they do a great job of it, and they have been so accommodating and generous with their support, and that's just in line with their own corporate culture and everything that they do to be a great corporate citizen as well. And they don't think twice about it, but to us it makes an enormous impact, an enormous difference, and we're so grateful for that ongoing leadership. It's been a good morning. We've had a good opportunity to hear a little bit about what makes our community special through the small businesses that emerge in our community to contribute in so many significant ways. As I said earlier, they would be making all the contribution we need from them just by starting and growing successful small businesses. We all benefit from that. But they go a step further, and this is not unique. This is, even though these are special and these are the finalists that we recognize this year, these attributes we found commonly among small businesses in our community, in that they are not only satisfied with being successful and contributing to our economy that way, but also contributing to our community by taking these extra steps above and beyond to serve the community in a variety of different ways that are very special and close to their heart. It's been impactful to me, inspiring to me, continues to inspire our team, what these and other small businesses and employers in our community do and have managed through these especially challenging times. We're so grateful to be able to hear those stories, to help convey and tell those stories so that we can all be inspired and motivated by them. And of course, I, as always, want to thank you for your support of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being a part of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. We hope to see you for our upcoming events that we described just a moment ago. And as always, hope that you today have a good morning, Springfield.